What's going on, everybody? Good to see you guys tonight. Late, but never too late. We got lots to cover tonight. So welcome to American Fire. I'm Ace. I will be your host tonight. We have a lot going on to catch up on. Iran, so much going on in that area. What Trump's doing, what he's saying is going on versus what everybody else is saying. It's a very interesting day with this possible deal Trump's talking about. And, of course, everybody's like, Taco Trump again, which by this point, you guys, everybody should know much better than that. We have major election news, election integrity news, I should say, with what's going on at the Supreme Court. Trump pushing the SAVE Act, holding up DHS funding. There might be a deal, but Trump is like, no, SAVE Act first. So that's getting interesting. ICE at airports and FAGA freaking out again. So you guys ready? We have a lot to get through. So bless you guys. So glad you're watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, support the channel with the free way. It's the free way to help, and I greatly appreciate it. So let me say hey to the Chizat. We'll see who's up in here. And then, my friends, we're going to get right into it because I have a lot to get to. Wago Waco, what's up, brother? Numero uno tonight. Girth Mike, what's going on? Cass Sink, congratulations. I did. I passed 10,000 subs today. It's pretty crazy, pretty humbling. So thank you to all the 10,000 people who have now subscribed to this channel. Whew, I was just a boy with a dream. Started this channel 3 years ago, and look where it's gotten me. 10,000 subs and staying up late just to make it work. But, you know, I love it. I love doing this show. It is more rewarding by the day. You guys are the best. And welcome to all the new people because it's growing and it's exciting. So if you are new, please hit up the chat. I do my best to get into the chat as much as possible. Read your questions, your comments. Just appreciate you guys. And this is a great community. Again, I've been doing this for 3 years. Some of these people have been here for the entire 3 years. We're friends. We're family. We're buddies. It's a great place to be, and we all love our country. This is a chat, a community of patriots and people who desperately want to see the world change, and we believe that there's a team working on that, and Donald Trump is leading it, so we're excited to see how it goes. Shogun's in the house. Alice Fordham, Z Grooms, US1, Tahoe, Daver, what's going on? Toe Cramps here. Eric, what's up, brother? James Lee, Mark R, Scott Volkovich, Rum Dog, Just Mike, Candace Morrison, what's going on? Frank Anastasio, Linda Telly, Big B's in the house. Don't Stop, what's going on? Seth Lynn Road, who else here? Uncle Handy, the one, what to do? Lochtefeld over there on Rumble. Saved by Grace, what's going on? Yeah, Pam Hayes, I love it. So many good people. Saved by Grace says, what a time to be alive. What a time to be an American with a badass prez. Amen to that. He's got the cards, folks. You don't have any cards, Vladimir. You don't have any cards, Zelensky. Yeah, this is going to be good. What are the chances we get the SAVE Act passed? Well, I think they're getting a little better every day. So, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. Yeah, Trump was at Graceland today. The king, the president hanging out with the king. That's how we do it. Dan the man, what's up? Trish, how we doing? Arnold. No, I'm live on Rumble. You guys don't see me over on Rumble? Let me make sure it's on. Yeah, Trump was at Graceland right today. Channel. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. It went to the wrong channel. My bad, guys. So on Rumble, there's my main channel, which I post all my videos on. And then there's like the head channel, which I had to create the other one under. And it looks like it's streaming to the wrong one. So hopefully Rumble peeps will join over here. So, there's plenty of room here on YouTube. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, and if you're on X watching, love you, appreciate you. I can't see what you're writing. Sorry. Elon hasn't fixed that yet. But All right, you guys ready to get into this? We got a lot to cover, so I better get started. Okay, Trump this morning, as markets were crashing in the futures, Trump announced, "I'm pleased to report the United States of America and this country of Iran have, over the last 2 days, had very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East, based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week." You notice he misspelled which. Trump doesn't misspell stuff on purpose, just saying. "I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants, energy infrastructure for 5-day period." Upon news of this, the flippin' stock market shot up 1,000 points, just went nuts, and we averted disaster. Oil plummeted, and markets went crazy. Why? Because, they're excited. They're hopeful. Do they know something? Maybe. Maybe not. But we're going to see how it all plays out. Now, I will say this. I really believe Trump's actually been having these talks. So right here we have CNBC host Joe Kernan said U.S. President Donald Trump described ongoing contacts with Iran as effectively amounting to regime change, according to remarks on air. Kernan said Trump told him the talks were not with a single leader, but with reps, adding Iran presents itself as having a broader structure. He said Trump went on to say or insist this is regime change because it's totally different people that were involved. Now, we had someone else come out, Iran came out and said this is simply not true. And the person who was contacted, believed to be the contact, also said it's not true. What do you do with that? Well, I'll tell you what you do with that. You don't trust Iran, number one. You just don't. We've found out several times here that Trump says this stuff and he ends up being proven right amidst all the doubts. But of course, everybody wants to say Trump just did this to pump the markets. Is that true? No. And I'll tell you guys right now, it's not true. However, Trump also does time it to pump the markets. So we have two truths held in tension here. One, these talks are absolutely happening. It's not. Trump set this all up. You can totally see it. So we have the Joe Kent stuff that came out last week. And listen, I'm not happy with Kent. He went right on to Tucker. He's most likely a shill. I'm holding out the slimmest possibility that maybe he's playing a game here. But most likely he's on there. I've talked a lot about Kent. 3 days later, Iran launches a missile that proves they were an imminent threat. The next day, Trump ushers an ultimatum on Friday or on Saturday morning, which would have completely tanked the markets and was starting to tank the markets. Gives everybody a chance to freak out. But look at how the timing lined up. It's missile shot. Trump delivers an ultimatum, and then he's already got a solution, it looks like, in play. Now, what I think is happening right now is we are watching the art of the deal in real time. And the art of the deal is this. Trump is working behind the scenes with, we've seen so many Iranians defect, especially as the leadership keeps dying. There's been several defections of leadership. Of course, there are somebody trying to negotiate with Trump, but there's also bad eggs that don't want this to happen. They might not have full control. We don't know. There's so much going on, fog of war. But what is clearly happening is Trump he's gaining leverage. He's putting the ultimatum out there, and then he's putting out a deal. Now, you know what's happening in 5 days? Number one, this is how Trump keeps markets from tanking and oil from spiking. So that's number one. That's good for all Americans, okay? Especially the oil part. Number two, those 5 days, because now the deadline will be on Friday evening after markets are closed, or Saturday. But also in those 5 days, we have more troops and ships heading over to Iran. So in those 5 days, if they do not do this, Trump has just bought time for more people to arrive to maybe take Carg Island or something else. We don't know what the plan is, but I think it's pretty clear to say Trump is in motion. Now, the FAGA influencers, the Trump haters are out there saying, Taco Trump again. He comes through again. He always chickens out, except for now we have a year, almost a year and a half of watching Trump do this. Usher ultimatums, stuff happens, people all freak out, and then Trump cleans it up over and over again. Everybody keeps falling for it. And every time Trump wins, trade deals with the Democrats, dealing with Congress, he just keeps winning. He's showing everybody negotiations. And what this tells me, guys, is we are getting very close to the end of the Iran war. We're getting very close because Trump is ratcheting up the pressure right when they're at their weakest, their most vulnerable. Because while we've been unloading onto them, Israel's also been doing all kinds of stuff on the ground, special ops. They can't have a leader without them getting taken out. People are defecting. Guards, policemen, IRGC members aren't showing up for work. We're getting all kinds of stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm still waiting on that super duper secret special missile that Iran has. It's going to blow us all away. Scott Ritter, Douglas McGregor, you frauds. What happened to that? What happened to us running out of ammunition this week, running out of our missiles this week? Remember that lie? Remember Ann Vandersteel out there saying we're going to run out of, all kinds of like gases and energy. She said helium was going to be dried up. We were going to be completely out of rockets. Where is all that? So far, none of the dooming has happened. None of it. And yet, everybody just keeps freaking out. We haven't even been at this for 4 weeks, guys. Not even 4 weeks. Here's Trump himself in his own words talking about what's going on.
So, tomorrow morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
Does this guy look scared to you? Does he look nervous? You know, one interesting thing I picked up when he said that is he said they called. Now, last week, what did we hear? Iran wants a deal, and Trump said, no go. I don't even want to talk a deal. Nothing's on the table until you're delivering the uranium to us. This time they delivered a deal. See, Iran is one of the biggest liars out there. Okay, the dictatorship, oppressive regime. They even believe, religiously it's okay to lie to the infidels. So you can't trust anything that comes out of their mouth. We had an Iranian defector reporter who's actually Persian or Iranian, and talking to them on CNN, telling them that everything the Iranians are putting out is a lie. It's all AI. It's all deflection. None of it's true. And the CNN reporter didn't know what to do with herself. She's just like, this isn't great. This is making us look bad because it makes Trump look really good. It's all lies. Everything they say. So, and by the way, now we have all these people parroting Iran as if like they're the great people we should trust. I mean, wait till I show you what Tucker said the last couple of days. My God, that man is digging himself a deeper and deeper hole. If he had anybody left on the MAGA side trusting this guy, it's going away fast. It's going away real fast. And I don't even know, like, what audience are you keeping? Tucker, we loved you. We embraced you. Some of us didn't trust you, but most of us did. I'm one of them. I gave you the shot. I saw you give arguably the best speech at the RNC. You were there by Trump to win this. I mean, you did great work. And now you've gone crazy. And when I show you guys that, it's like, it's shocking, the stuff he's saying. Yeah, the China stuff was shocking. And now he's making even crazier statements. I don't know what's going on. Like, it is, the only thing I can think is all assets deployed. All assets deployed. The Iranian stuff, it's MI6, City of London just being like, everybody out there, run everything you can. We have to deflect this. We have to beat Trump. We have to ruin his base, because his base is his power. The movement is his power. That is the only thing that makes sense for these influencers to go so crazy. And for somebody like Tucker, who is so close in the circle, to be going crashing out the way he is. It's insanity. It's insanity. But let's stick on Iran for now. Here's Jesse Waters, and I just want to play this minute 45 here, because this clip is really good and gives you an excellent idea of where we're at. Jesse just continues to do bang up work.
He sided with the Iranians. They think the Iranians are telling the truth, and Trump's just making it all up. These are the same Iranians who last week claimed they sunk one of our carriers. They lied about their nuke program and how many civilians they slaughtered. Maybe Iran's trying to look tough to keep their population in line. Or maybe, since they're all hiding with no cell phones, they don't know who's talking to who. The gay Ayatollah's MIA. The CIA thinks he's wounded, and he might not even know he's in charge. We haven't seen proof of life. And while he's on an IV drip, the Republican Guard's consolidating power. But some ran into the woods and haven't been seen since. Literally. The head of Iran's militia escaped into a forest and pitched a tent. Ordinary Iranians spotted him making a fire, tipped off Mossad, and the IDF took him out with a missile strike. Reports say Iran's security forces are on the run.
The Iranian regime is in chaos. This is Hitler's bunker. Hitler is dead. Himmler is dead. Goring is dead. Most of what you're seeing are lone wolf activities.
Trump can't even say who he's negotiating with. It's too risky.
I don't want him to be killed. Okay? I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you've deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now, you know? Nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country, but perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Trump's announcing he's negotiating with the Iranians makes what's left of the regime not really trust each other.
All right. Great stuff, Jesse. Thank you so much. But it's all lies. And Jesse just broke it down so perfectly. But and then also the fact that they won't name it, and some people are taking that as Trump lying. But doesn't it make sense that they don't want him to be killed? Now, Israel not helping us. The Jerusalem Post did name the guy they believe it was. And so he had to come out and disown it, because, of course, if it comes out that he actually is the guy that's negotiating with Trump, they're going to turn on him. They'll call him a turncoat. He'll be murdered. I mean, this is the Iranians we're talking about. They killed a 19-year-old. I didn't cover this on my show, but just last week they killed a 19-year-old wrestler. They threatened the Iranian women's soccer team, who wouldn't bow for their anthem, to kill their families if they didn't come home. Yeah, these are not good people. They are bloodthirsty, disgusting people. But more proof stuff's coming out, guys, that this is trending in the right direction. Trump's heading in the right direction. Is this? Russia is now urging Iran to end hostilities immediately. They're losing all support. Russia was supposed to be World War III. Iran was supposed to be the trigger that got us into war with Russia and China. Remember that nonsense? How many times have I told you guys that? Well, you probably all know it too from being taught it forever, but Iran is the big bad number 3. China 1, Russia 2, Iran 3. You don't mess with them, because it leads to World War III. It ends us. And now we just No big deal. And Russia's like, dude, chill, guys. Chill. China's out there being like, our oil, man, we're not fighting the Americans. Are you kidding us? Good luck. Have fun. Please send us some oil. Like, there's everything we've been told is wrong. All this military intelligence is wrong. And now Russia's out like, guys, end it. But they're not the only ones. Turkey, Egypt, Pakistan, passing messages between the U.S. and Iran over the past 2 days in an effort to de-escalate. This is Barack Ravid, man. This isn't like, a Trump supporting guy saying this. This is an Axios reporter, but he is a White House correspondent who he gets scoops. Senior officials from 3 countries held separate talks with White House envoy Steve Witkoff, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Mediation ongoing and making progress. Discussion about ending the war resolved. So they confirm it, and they confirm it. They're using proxies. Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan. When did you ever think we'd be working with those 3 countries? This is the entire region once it's over. And these are sovereign countries that have not been part of EU. Now there's Muslim Brotherhood stuff in there. Isn't that interesting? I don't know. We'll have to follow how that goes, in which case they'll want Iran, if they do broker ceasefire, they're going to want Iran to still control the oil because that's all City of London. So we'll watch and see how this plays out. But they're not the only ones. Like I showed you Russia, but we also got the Sauds. The Saudis are like, dude, don't do this. Where is it? Hold on, guys. 1 second. Here we are. Saudi Arabia is close to its decision to join the attacks against Iran. Wall Street Journal. It's only a matter of time before the kingdom enters the war. They're all done. Iran's screwed, guys. We are waiting for that big, bad, super bad rocket missiles, that they have, guys. Remember I showed you that post last week from Died Suddenly? That whole breakdown. Our super secret sources, which are never wrong, have reported to us that Iran is just waiting for the Americans to stop, and then they will unleash hell. They have the super duper secret rocket man's firepower that they're going to unleash. What nonsense. I called it out then. I continue to call it out. Guys, we've slowed down. We come in waves right now. But this is the time when Iran, they launched their super duper secret missile and it didn't even hit. It did travel 4,000 kilometers, which is enough that if they had warheads, watch out. You can't allow it to happen now since it can hit every single European city. Yeah, wake up call. But it also was Iranian technology, just not quite there. And they fired 2. That, for all we know, that's all they had. But regardless, whatever that missile was for, and honestly, I'll tell you what, at this point, it's starting to look like that was a trigger to validate Trump. I'm starting to wonder. I'm really starting to wonder if there's already stuff behind the scenes in this that's settled, and the rest of this is just playing out the way it needs to play out, so the world can accept it. And Trump can get the win he needs. I don't know, because that missile firing is looking more and more suspicious since they didn't follow it up with anything else. I mean, we have the Europeans. Where is it? Right here. Europeans realizing Trump was right, now concerned Iran has a capability to launch missiles at them. On BBC, I saw people apoplectic. Iran could possibly hit the UK with missiles, no defenses. I heard somebody today on one of my videos was like, oh, did you guys know that they didn't really shoot that rocket? That was Israel. I'm like, oh my God, these people. I've been getting so many dumb people in my comments lately. It's crazy. It's like, this is a price you pay as your reach grows. This channel has grown a lot this last month. I had my best month ever. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for showing up. It's humbling. It's humbling that people come to watch me rant and rave, talk to you guys the way I talk to my friends about news. You know, this is my outlet, and like where I get to process everything, and just really grateful to you guys for supporting my hobby. But the price you pay with that is all the tards come out, man. The Israel tards, the libertards, they all have to say something stupid. And they all have to tell me how dumb I am for, whatever. It doesn't affect me. It's more funny than not. But it's like, God, get off my page. Like, I don't want this notification. It's worth wasted time. But they're like, this didn't even happen. Israel fired that rocket. Really? Then why is Europe actually scared of this?
Today, and I saw people apoplectic that Iran could possibly hit the UK with missiles, and they have no missile defenses. Now, they're not admitting openly that Trump was right, but I think they're implicitly admitting that.
They're not admitting openly that Trump was right. Of course not. They're the EU. Why would they ever do that? So ridiculous. These people, man, it's crazy. But again, that missile fired off was a warning shot. And everybody's paying attention. Now all these countries are coming together, being like, we got to end this. We got to end this. A, it's proven Iran was an imminent threat. We won't admit Trump was right, but he's right. B, Trump's getting ready to go full bore. This is the operation. They see the troops moving across the ocean over to take Karg Island or whatever they're going to do with the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going into Iran proper. We're not going to do that. There's not going to be an invasion. We're talking 5,000 troops. You'd need 200,000 to do that at least. It's not happening. There's no sign of invasion. Trump's holding up his end of the bargain there. But we're going to do whatever we can to control the oil flow. Doesn't mean Trump's not looking to control the profits, but this is the key. Get rid of all uranium, everything, force a new regime in through a deal like we did in Venezuela, and which isn't quite the different regime, but new leadership that's acting much differently, and get the oil to open market. So City of London loses its control and China suffers because China's been getting that oil for pennies on the dollar. They've been buying wholesale, and Trump's like, no more. He's negotiating all this, and it's just changing everything. And while he's doing this, he's also, you guys some people doubt the whole City of London angle. Look at this. So Trump today gave the Europeans ultimatum, sign the $750 billion trade deal by March 26. It's 3 days away, or lose favorable access to U.S. natural gas. Qatar's Ras Laffan natural gas is offline for 3 to 5 years after the Iranian drone strikes. Russia's pipeline gas is cut. Norway's maxed out, leaving Americans as Europe's only scalable supplier. Natural gas prices up 35 to 50% since Hormuz closed. This is Impulse, the most calculated energy play in U.S. history, using the crisis to force a massive trade win. We own Europe now. We own the City of London now. Trump has all the cards. They can't heat themselves without us now. We are the #1 natural gas exporter in the world, and we're going to have a massive Europe has to pay us now. This is crazy what's happening. And nobody talks about this stuff. This is reported CNBC. This is a legit source. They don't report anything favorable to Trump unless they have to. Okay, unless it's legit. But nobody's talking about this. All they're talking about is Israel. Oh my God, Israel drew us into another forever war. You guys remember in the 90s when we did this? Like, that's what I think of every time I hear Israel tards. It's like, it's so stupid. What Trump is doing is masterminding the entire situation. This is, we're watching City of London crap out right before our eyes, and all anybody wants to talk about is Trump lied, Israel. I don't have time for that, and you shouldn't either. We deserve better. We do. Now we have to do the work though, because they control the media, and now we know they control the influencers. Well, a lot of the influencers. But what's happening right now is Trump just won the energy war. Taking out Iran literally is forcing everybody into submission to us. Venezuela, then Iran. I mean, the oil flow that's hitting the markets now. We're now the number one exporter of oil in the world and the number one exporter of natural gas. We can be completely self-sufficient. We don't need anybody else anymore. Chips in Taiwan, fine. Trump's building the factories in Arizona. Not much longer will we need them. You see how he's just making us more and more powerful? How he's cut off this. This is incredible stuff. So I don't know how this is all going to play out in the next few days, but I'll tell you this. I would not be shocked based on what we've seen the last 48 hours, based on what we've seen the last month. I would not be shocked if by Friday Trump announces we have a deal with Iran, blah, 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 and it's Venezuela all over again. It's just done. Strait of Hormuz fully open. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I also want to be shocked if IRGC kills the guys we're negotiating with and dig their heels in and try to do something stupid. I won't be shocked at all. And we have to do either way. I'm not going to be shocked, but I'll tell you this. If they do that, they're just making it worse long-term, because Trump, listen, they thought they called Trump's bluff last summer. Remember, they had 60 days to negotiate. 60 days to negotiate the nuclear deal. They didn't do it. And Trump was like, well, we might talk for another week. And then boom, hit them the next day when nobody was expecting it. Venezuela. Oh, Trump's just putting all those ships around Venezuela. He's not going to do anything. Boom, when nobody's ready for it, goes and gets Maduro. You don't think he'll do the same thing here? See, the whole Taco Trump thing is a psyop just to make everybody think that Trump is weak, because they can't find anything that he's actually weak on. You know what the big thing was going on today? And even some of my friends are saying this. I'm just like, you guys, you're just buying the nonsense. It was like, it's all about the markets. That's all Trump cares about is the markets. Really? If all he cared about with the markets, he never would have introduced the volatility he has in the past anyways. Especially with tariffs. He keeps adding volatility on purpose because what it's doing is it's giving him more control in everything in general. He likes to give shock waves to the market so that he could see where it's going and where it's going to crash to. And then he's like, maybe not as much. It's the deal making over and over again. It's just negotiating. If you've ever read his book, Art of the Deal, it is what he does. He's always done this. So all this is going on. It's just masterful. I mean, Europe is like, how are they ever going to have leverage on us anytime soon again? This is insane. It's insane. And then tonight, now this is IRGC's news, so who knows? This could be AI propaganda. But there is some news coming out. The U.S.-Israeli airstrikes are targeting Iranian energy facilities. We'll see how this plays out. This says this is footage of tonight's strikes in Isfahan. You can't see much. There's the explosion. We'll see how this plays out. Maybe this is real, maybe not. If it is real, then Trump just did what he did with the nuke sites last year, where the deal was up. He said, we'll give it a little more time. And then boom, he struck in the middle of the night. Maybe that's what's going on again. I don't know. We'll watch and see how this plays out. I don't trust the source, but again, it's interesting. But regardless, I don't know how this is crazy. What he's done by I know gas is up right now, right? Okay, we went from $60 a barrel up to 90, 95. We kind of hit there. We ran up to 120. It came right back down to 95. But Trump, by sheer genius, the way he's manipulating the markets with his words, by the way he just knows how to perfectly time everything, he's been able to keep oil between like 89 and 97 dollars a gallon or dollars a barrel, which is keeping gas under $4 now for most of the nation. That sucks temporarily, but it could be $8. Everybody was calling for it's going to run to 150. It's going to run to 200. Not even close. All the experts are wrong again. and everybody's like, they always are looking for new angles of how they can prove Trump is dumb and doesn't know what he's doing. Meanwhile, they're the ones who all their predictions end up being wrong. So I don't know about you guys, but to me, this whole Iran thing looks like Trump's got this, like, when I say Trump, obviously I mean the whole team. Rubio, Bessent, it seems like they actually know exactly what they're doing. And I would not be shocked now if this is done before Easter, and maybe even this weekend. We'll see how it plays out the next few days. But Trump is definitely, the leverage is just completely gone in the favor of the Trump administration all over again, in the U.S. favor. The Trump administration is the U.S., so the U.S., it's our favor. We have all the leverage. We hold the cards, baby. So let's see how this plays out, but it's going to be very interesting. Okay, before I go on to the next thing, I do want to take a sec, get into the chat. I see lots of comments. I see a super chat, so definitely got to get to that. Just remind everybody, please, if you don't mind, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to keep getting the notifications of when I go live, which, listen, I do go live Monday through Thursday nights and sometimes on Sundays. I did do a members live on Saturday this week, but usually late. It's because I'm a working man. I got a family. I can only do this late at night. So if you want the notifications, because I can't quite schedule my show due to my life, hit that bell, set those notifications up. All right, let me get in here. And I'm going to start with the super chat because Moses Verdon with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Moses, for the support. Asks, what do I think of all these YouTubers saying shit like you are only a patriot if you protect this war on Trump? Don't shill for Israel. We cannot win. Hold on. Let me read that again. What do I think of YouTubers saying you're only a patriot if you protest this war and Trump? Don't shill for. What do I think about it? Listen, man, I think it's stupid. I think it's a game. There are a lot of people saying that stuff in high places, influencers making lots of money with big shows who clearly came from somewhere because they shot up out of nowhere. Nick Fuentes, Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, these people who started popped up out of nowhere whenever they popped up, whether it was 2017, 2018, last year, blew up, and now they kind of are useful idiots. Those people are all, Candace Owens' husband is House of Lords connected to MI6. I mean, come on. It's not hard to figure out. Ian Carroll, you can't even find where his past is. Nick Fuentes was having 100,000 subscribers plus at 18 years old with no backing. He didn't come from anywhere. Just all of a sudden he's on the scene. You do the math. Okay. Do the math. So, and it's not just them. So you get those guys, and they are seeding these narratives because they're always trying to sow division. They're obviously being used by intelligence agencies of some sort to always distract, discourage. That's the keys right there. Distract, discourage. You get the base, you get close to them, and then you keep seeding them stuff. Like you throw out nonsense so they are not paying attention to what's really going on, or you throw out stuff that brings them down. And the whole Israel thing is a complete psyop. And I'm not a Zionist. I'm not like Israel's perfect. Israel can do no wrong. No, Israel's done plenty of wrong. Israel has been used by intelligence agencies. They have been used by MI6. They were started by City of London. But the small country, less smaller than New Jersey, been around for 80 years, is not going to control the world. That's retarded. Okay. But doesn't mean, so no full evil Israel, no full perfect Israel. It's in between. It's complicated. Israel's complicated, but they certainly are not in charge of everything. And we shouldn't be giving them all this money, but at the same time, they do stuff that helps us. So, it goes back and forth. That's where I'm at Israel. So what do I think of all of them? I think anybody who's saying that is either doing it on purpose, they're getting paid to do so, they're getting pushed to do so, or they've been bought into a narrative and they're not either smart enough or dedicated enough to do their own research. It's just so easy to fall into that line and be like, I don't understand what's going on. Where's the enemy? So this guy says Israel. It's got to be Israel. Like that's, and unfortunately a lot of people do that. So that's what I think about that. But thank you for the $5, Moses. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see. Seth says, I've noticed in comment sections, people turning on Trump are getting roasted. You talking about on YouTube and stuff? Interesting. Trish, Israel's always been the proverbial canary in the coal mine, and envy's off the chain. I mean, I don't know if it's always envy, but they definitely are. They definitely can be a canary for sure. Do I think the current state of the city of London has anything to do with Trump's last term when he walked in front of the Queen? It's almost like he set up so many stages first term and playing out now. Oh, 100%. See, the crown is directly impacted by City of London. Those who watch my members live on Saturday, I broke down the entire history and current status impact of City of London. And what you learn when you learn about the City of London is that the crown bows to the mayor of the City of London before they can even go in. City of London technically has more power than the crown, but the crown validates a lot of what the City of London does. It's a wild thing, a wild relationship. But yes, I do believe that. And I also believe that last year when Trump visited Charles, I believe he was offering terms of surrender and Charles did not take them. That's my own estimate based on what I saw, but it makes a lot of sense. Lucid Heart, thank you so much. MI says, how hard can China be starved of oil and hit with tariffs before we risk them doing something foolish, possibly militarily? Well, that's an excellent question, MH. Let me tell you, what have we learned in the last 6 months, 3 months? We've learned that you can just do things. And we've learned that our military capabilities far exceed what anybody dared let us know. We've learned that we are clearly the number one power in the world, and it's not close. So what does that mean? It means we are actually much further ahead of China than anybody even believed. China is barely holding it together. Their economy is faltering. They were already having tons of issues because they built a fake economy. Well, fake economies always fall, but they kept finding ways to keep it going. Trump's tariffs have broken that. And now one of the last things they had going for them, the free flow of cheap oil, is cut off. So China they're not going to be able to get desperate with us because we will destroy them. And they now know that. China is running to the table to deal with us. They want deals. They are terrified of us. And that long-standing lie pushed by like Steve Bannon and others that China can like build up this military and challenge us and invade us. We've learned that it's not true. We've learned that we could destroy them easily. Now, maybe it would have been true in the Obama days when he was cutting off all of our artillery and we were running out of bullets and we would not, like he was cutting off our military. But what we've learned under Trump is that the American military at full strength, fully funded, fully allowed to fight war cannot be stopped by anybody. It's not even close. What we just did to Iran is unbelievable. This offensive assault we've had on Iran. It's unbelievable. We were told it wasn't supposed to be possible. So I'll tell you, I don't worry about China at all. I'm not even a little bit worried about China. That has been a psyop, guys, going on. And you know what? I used to believe it, but seeing what we keep seeing now under Trump, he's opening our eyes to all of it. The scales should be falling off everybody's eyes, not only about Iran, which we've seen, not only about Venezuela, not only about Democrats, but not only about City of London, but about China too. China is nowhere near the strong country that we were made to believe it could be. That doesn't mean it's not still an adversary. Doesn't mean it's not still a rival, but that's all going to be more economically because of China's ties everywhere through trade, through the cheap goods they export. That's always going to be there, at least for the next while, you know. But militarily, China's got nothing on us. Look what we just did to all their anti-aircraft weaponry that both Venezuela and Iran had. They couldn't do anything. They suck. Pete says, my brother reluctantly voted for Trump in 24 only because he saw how bad Biden was. I'm pretty sure he's an avid Tucker listener to me. He said, attempting to build the third temple to bring their Mashiach. Oh, God. Yeah, listen. I'll tell you, even if Israel is trying to push this war to build the third temple, or they have some hardline eschatological people trying to push this stuff, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. And honestly, it's bad theology anyways. And we could talk about that another time. I've done entire shows on the eschatology, and it just, all that eschatology nonsense that's trying to scare us into like, this is the end of the world. It's all BS, but we'll talk about that another day. I might revisit that another day. And if in the meantime, if you can't wait, you can go to my playlist, Understanding the Whole Bible, and go watch those videos. Okay. Anything else before my next section here? Let's see. What about the Chinese in our country? Well, again, Linda, China's a problem, but it's more of a constant nuisance at this point than the big bad enemy that was going to completely challenge us mano a mano that we thought it was. So I believe Trump's cleaning a lot of that up. And I just don't think we have to worry about them the same way. It doesn't mean, and listen, when I say we don't have to worry about China, I don't mean they can't do anything to hurt us. They can do little things like mess with our elections. They can, China's not really the terrorist type, but they could financially undercut stuff. They can fund bad things that happen to us. They can, make deals behind our back. They could steal our IP. They can hurt us, but it's like little hurts that add up. But what they cannot do is face us one-on-one in a fair fight. And so as long as we pay attention to the problem, it's like if you take care of your body, okay? You eat well, you sleep, we're finally under Trump. We're a country that's starting to take care of our body. When you take care of your body, is there still threats here and there? Yes. But is it as likely to overwhelm you, overtake you, disease, sickness, whatever? No, it's not. Because once you start taking care of yourself, you start getting healthier, you start feeling better. And those little things, like those little things that China was always doing to us, yeah, those could have killed us if we kept ignoring them, if we kept just letting them do it. But it's not that hard to clean up once you start taking care of yourself. And that's what we're doing now. Moses with another $5 donation says, can I give advice how research news? It says, you've been right more than anyone I can find. Thanks in advance. We need you. Oh man, that is like one of the best compliments I've ever received. Thank you so much for that, Moses. And thank you for the other $5. Man, I gotta tell you, listen, I've been doing research individually for 30 years. I mean, I became an avid researcher when I was a teenager. I just wanted to learn how the world works, and it's a skill. And it's something that you can only do by pushing yourself to do it. Tips I can give you is that you find people you trust and you let them research for you. And then you start getting a feel for it. So first of all, go out to a bunch of information, and then you start learning who's right and who's wrong. Okay. And you start noticing it the more you learn. And so you start getting your information validated. You're like, okay, this person's right a lot. This person's wrong a lot. So I'm going to trust over here. So you start doing that. The other thing you do is you start learning how to deep dive stuff. So you learn how to go to sources. So it's either, and sometimes you can't get good information. You just have to trust people. And that's one thing nobody wants to talk about, but it's true. And so any good researcher can still be wrong on something, but you go to, but anyways, you go to the source as much as you can. So whether it's an old book, which most books now are put on the internet, you can learn how to use AI's made research easier than ever. It's really good for research, but you have to know how to do it, because AI will feed you nonsense unless you know how to cut through and force it to get you the real stuff. X is excellent for research, but yeah, it really is just a skill over time, because you have to learn how to trust sources and not others. But yeah, man, just do the work. That's really what good research comes down to. Just do the work and you'll learn. Okay. A couple more and then I got to keep moving here. Let's see here. Lisa says Chinese military equipment is Temu. That's so true. They don't even have a carrier they can take into blue water. Everyone knows they're a paper tiger. We're learning that for sure. Don't tell Steve Bannon that, because he still needs China to be the big bad, so he can keep his grift going. Let's see here. Seth, does anyone remember Ark of the Covenant Trump had at Mar-a-Lago sent to Israel? That's interesting. Bible didn't want that. I don't think that has anything to do with the Bible, but that is interesting. Okay. I've read the Bible my whole life. There's nothing about the Ark of the Covenant being sent back being a bad thing. Anyways, this is weird, some of the theology that gets out there, guys. A lot of theology has been taught to us through tradition and not through actual Bible. Just remember that. But anyways, okay, I'm going to move on because we got to get to more. So, all right, let's do this. I got a couple interesting sections here. Let's get into the election stuff real quick, because this really has to do a lot with Trump holding the cards. And then we're going to talk about ICE, what Trump's doing there, the master stroke of ICE at airports. And then we're going to bag on the, Bibi, not the Bible. Oh, I'm sorry, Seth. I read you wrong. My bad. And then we're going to go into FAGA about these crashing out influencers and what's going on in that world, because we have to record it. We have to record it for posterity's sake. But Joel Pollack, who I like Joel, I like a lot of his stuff, reports Republicans may well break the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act this week because the Democrats shut down a TSA in wartime suggests their party does not actually adhere to boundaries and better to repair the voting system before Democrats change it, which they will. 100%. Will they break the filibuster this week? Probably not, but the pressure is ramping up. And this does have to do with what Trump did with ICE, because he's exposing a lot about TSA, about DHS, and even some Republicans are just getting fed up with it. They don't want this to continue. And the Democrats they're not offering anything, even though they're crashing out hard right now. They did offer a deal. They said, we will fund all of DHS except for ICE, which ICE is already funded thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill through 2028. But they wanted to get a little more money for ICE because despite the lie going out there that Trump is turning on mass deportations, he is not. He just wants to change how we communicate it so it's a little softer for the midterms. But they haven't changed anything about how they're actually deporting. In fact, there's arrests going on even at the airport checkpoints today. This is Trump talking about, and this is just great. This is just peak Trump. This was him asked about the deal and everything, and keeping, making the Senate pass the SAVE Act instead of going through with a DHS deal.
So I'm tying Homeland Security into voter identification with picture and proof of citizenship in order to vote. And those two items are the most important thing having to do with Homeland Security. So it should be part of the Homeland Security bill. And I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus.
I mean, that is just peak Trump right there. Listen to that one more time. It's just so funny.
Make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell him.
You can see him smile during that. You could tell he knew he had a great one right there.
It would be a damn good thing. The most important part of Homeland Security is voter ID and proof of citizenship Nobody can vote on Homeland Security without voter ID or proof of citizenship, and you can't have Homeland Security without voter ID or proof of citizenship.
Okay, this is so brilliant. It's unbelievably brilliant. So let's go back for a minute. You guys ready to step into the time machine and go back a month? Just over a month ago, month and a half ago, we had all the Minnesota stuff going on. And Democrats were winning the narrative a little bit. Does anybody even talk about Minnesota anymore? Remember when that felt like the world, like that's the most important thing in the world was Minnesota and ICE in Minnesota. And my God, they fixed it and it's just completely moved on. Unbelievable how they pulled that off. Well, the DHS shutdown right now is because of that. So they funded the government, but they left out DHS because the Democrats were like, we're riding high right now. We got this. We're going to get ICE defunded, or at least we're going to get a lot of concessions on ICE, and we're going to get a big win for our base. Democrats are going to look awesome. Trump's going to look terrible. So they did exactly that. And DHS has been unfunded since then. Well, now we're way past that. Nobody remembers Minnesota anymore. Nobody cares. Completely past that. So what is now Trump doing? He's using the SAVE Act, which he wants, which will change the country forever, which will secure our elections 95% at least. He's tying it now to the DHS funding, and now Trump has taken the shutdown and owned it. And he's like, I'm doing this now. I came out about a week or two ago, said I would not pass anything without the SAVE Act being passed first. Now I'm holding to my promise. And the Democrats now are scrambling to get DHS funded because Trump is now letting ICE run TSA. And they're trying to get a deal done. And Joe's like, nope. Now the shutdown, I'm going to own it because you guys are going to pass the SAVE Act one way or the other. It's amazing how he did this. This guy is a genius. It's incredible to watch him work. Everybody who's like, it's like, you have to be so stupid at this point to think Trump's stupid. You have to be so like just checked out to think he doesn't know what he's doing. This man, I've never seen a leader who can constantly take a bad situation and completely flip it around. Do you realize like what a big deal the SAVE Act is, why they're all putting their heels in, while even Republicans are trying to not let this happen? But Trump just told them now that the political pressure is rising, because now the Democrats, regular people, the base has to meet ICE agents every day at the TSA lines. And so the Democrats are crashing out because this is making ICE agents, they're going to start being like normal people. They're going to lose so much of their fight because this was one of their big things. ICE is evil. Immigration is evil, or deportations are evil. Trump just totally took that away from them. I mean, this is how it's going right now with ICE. TSA lines completely cleared out. This morning, travelers experienced a wait time, but since I got here, the lines are moving smooth. Here's a reporter on the beat.
And the wait line looks like this. In the couple of hours that I've been here, I've seen ICE officers patrolling, and the line has looked the same since I got here.
Just yesterday, we were seeing lines out the building, 4-hour lines, 6 hours in Atlanta, and now ICE just came in and just crushing it. It's unbelievable. And this is like the Democrats are freaking out so bad about this, which, by the way, also Mark Wayne Mullen was confirmed. So he is now by 54 votes. Rand Paul voted against him, and Fetterman, another Democrat, actually voted for him. So he's taken over Kristi Noem, which I do believe this will be an upgrade. I think he'll be great. So all this is going on. Democrats are crashing out, trying to actually get DHS funded now. Republicans are like, hey, we got a deal. And Trump's like, no. Get the SAVE Act done. This is the kind of thing that makes me think like they're going to actually figure this out, because they can either get really, really clever and tie it to a reconciliation package, which is hard to do because reconciliation has to do with budget. But, you know, they've done some crazy stuff through reconciliation before. Or they can eliminate the filibuster and pass it. We'll see what happens, but the pressure is mounting. And meanwhile, while that's all going on at the Supreme Court today, well, they are debating over Election Day and whether mail-in ballots should be able to be counted and received after Election Day. You know, like in California, where they stole like 4 or 5 House seats from us this last election because they kept counting for a month later. Or obviously the 2020 election with Biden counting way after. Yeah, this would eliminate that. Listen to what the justices were saying. And right now, based on this, based on how the hearing went, everybody thinks it's going to be overturned and banned. They think the justices are going to ban it going forward, which would be a massive win for election integrity.
The justices are wrestling with a question about whether states can count ballots received after election
Oh, why does it keep doing that? Sorry, guys, it stopped.
Day, in a case that could have an impact in nearly 30 states that allow some kind of grace period. The RNC is challenging a Mississippi law that allows ballots to be counted up to 5 business days after Election Day if they're postmarked by Election Day. Justice Alito was among the biggest skeptics during Monday's arguments.
Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day, and they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place.
But Justice Kagan questioned the impact of that logic on practices like early voting.
It seems to me it's a rule that prevents early voting, because you're basically saying there are 2 things that have to happen, and they have to happen on Election Day.
Meaning the casting of the vote and the receipt of that vote. But attorney Paul Clement, representing the RNC, said the argument is that the process be consummated or completed by Election Day. A number of the justices also raised the issue of the potential for the appearance of fraud when votes arrive and are counted after Election Day. And there wind up being shifts in vote totals and how that may impact public confidence.
I think this one's gonna go our way, guys. I really do. It's a pretty cut and dry. So it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. So listen, Iran, Trump masterminding, I really think so. And I'm open to hear some people who disagree on that one. That's fine, because there's a lot of moving parts with Iran. But based on what I'm seeing, it's going really well, and it's about to head towards a close. Trump knocks that out, and then if he gets this SAVE Act passed, and then remember what he declared the other day, once Iran, the regime in Iran is finished, I'm turning my attention to what he said was the last great enemy of the United States is the Democrats. That tells me he's going full on domestic policy. That all hits, guys. If he's done with all this starting in April, we get this passed, it's going to be a completely different story heading into the midterms. In fact, the latest Zogby poll that just came out even had the midterms with the Republicans only down 1 point. So, guys, things are changing quickly. Trump has done something miraculously again, where he hit a very low, like for him, he hit a low with the Minnesota stuff and Democrats were riding high. But now that that's gone, it's starting to crest back up. And wait till the Iran war, which also proves that these guys have the influencers have no power, despite what they think. So we're going to talk about them and the latest on that in a minute. But let me take a sec. Let me get back into the chat, catch up with you guys with questions, comments for a minute here. And then we'll get to the next segment where I want to cover what's going on in FAGA influencer world. But if you guys don't mind, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Again, always appreciate it. And if you want more, if you really like my content and you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is to click in the description. There's a link to Patreon, or on my pinned post on X. Click the link to Patreon. Go there. The gift you get by clicking that link is a free month to the membership. A month. That's plenty of time to explore members' lives, podcasts for members only, and get into the Discord where we all chat 24/7. It's a great community. You'll love being part of that community, I promise you, especially if you're into the content I do. So try it out for a month. That's all I ask. Go try it. It's my gift to you, a free month. And then if you like it, you can stick around, and it's only $5 a month after that. So that's the best way to support the channel. And so you can check it out on there, but like and subscribe if nothing else. Appreciate it. Okay. Is YouTube still deleting comments, Toe Cramp? Dang. Let's see here. Lots of comments going on. What are you guys talking about? Looks like everybody's talking to each other. Okay, that's all right. Well, that frees me up to keep going. Seth asked, should we repeal the 19th? That'll never happen. It'll never happen. And, and honestly, should it? I don't know in a modern society if you can actually make the legitimate case you should take away women's right to vote. I don't see that happening. I understand why, did you know when the 19th passed, even most women didn't want it to pass? But no, I'm not, it's just, that would never even happen. It's not even a debate worth having. And, I think women are smart. They can make their decisions. I've heard the arguments against, but at the same time, it's like, this is modern society. You can't, it's a non-starter. I think it's ridiculous. Pam says the early voting could make wrapping up counting on election much easier. It could, but early voting does still allow for a little bit of fraud to still happen. So it has to be monitored very closely to be done well. Anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. I think you guys are doing great. Okay. Well, if you have any other questions or comments for me, guys, that isn't toward each other, I'm missing them because there's just a lot to read, but hit it up a couple times if you really want to get my attention on some. So let's move on. All right. I promised you guys Tucker. Well, we got to get into the latest Tucker because it's crazy. I cannot believe he said this. I'm not going to play this. It's 5 minutes long. And it's late, but Tucker went through a whole thing today in this interview. Not a single Western city thriving. Sharia law is made Islamic societies more advanced than the West. I mean, I'll play a second.
So much that I see it. There's not a single Western city that's thriving. And they're all degrading in exactly the same way.
Is a lot of it just a moral?
So he's not wrong about Western cities. Okay. This is what Tucker does. It actually keeps a lot of people still watch him and trust in him. He does say things that are true. Just like Nick Fuentes says stuff that are true, and it's like the great deceivers always package their lies in truth. That's what the devil did. I mean, he does it to Jesus in Matthew 4 in the wilderness. He packages lies in truth. And so to say that part is not wrong. Okay. We've had a lot of decay in the West. I don't know if you could prove every single Western city, but I'd say it's definitely most of them. The crazy thing is what he follows it up with is about Sharia law, making Islamic societies more advanced than the West. First of all, there's not a single Islamic city more advanced than the West. The most advanced cities in the Middle East and in Islamic societies are in secular places like Dubai. Dubai is basically secular. They're not Islamic, even though a lot of them might claim Islamic. They're not. This is not how they run the place. So, and it's definitely not under Sharia law. That's insanity. And so for Tucker to be saying that is his conclusion. I mean, yesterday it was China. Today it's Islam. How is this guy supposed to be America first? That's where we're at. This is at the point where Tucker, he either hates our country or, and is gladly trying to ruin what what's going on in our country right now to actually rebuild it and reclaim it and make it great again, or he's literally just like lost his mind. What else could there be? This is so factually untrue. It's crazy. But also, not only is it untrue, it's just in a way, it's like offensive. And I don't mean it's offensive like, oh, I'm offended, but I mean it's offensive in the fact that like it's so obviously untrue, and it's so anti-American to say this and anti-Christian to believe this as a guy who's supposed to be a Christian. But this is where you can see the this is where you can see the influence of like that Alexander Dugin guy who I've been looking into more. You can see the influence, just the propaganda influence on Tucker and how he's spreading this stuff, because there is this major belief system going out there. Well, not a belief system, but a great lie being perpetrated by Tucker, Dave Smith, and others about this whole idea that the only reason like Muslims are mean or do bad things is because we bomb them, which is one of the stupidest things anybody's ever said. I mean, it's insanely stupid. Islam is a violent religion, always has been. It believes in power by taking power. It's complete opposite of, say, Christianity and so on and so forth, and other religions like Buddhism. But it's always compared to Christianity, right? Except it's very different. And just because they say they believe in the same God doesn't mean they do, right? When everything else is different. But the point is like they've always been like this. They've always taken by conquering and by violently forcing people to commit and to change and follow their religion and become subject to them. That's the story of Islam since 700 AD with Muhammad. Okay, so for Tucker to say this, it's just it's like insanely stupid. But this is what's going on out there, and it makes you wonder, like, why even lie like this? But they're just going further and further down, the deep end. Here's Tucker just a few years ago saying in his book, Ship of Fools, Tucker Carlson wrote, immigration from Muslims led to a wave of sex crimes of medieval Islamic customs, which is Sharia law, are the biggest threat to Western social advances, and that Islamic law is distinguished only by its level of violence. That was 2018. And now he's saying the opposite. I mean, here's his words right here. It's insane stuff. And what we're seeing right now is because these people finally like outed themselves, whether it's Tucker or Candace or Ian Carroll or Dave Smith, whoever, because these guys have like outed themselves as who they really are, in turning against real MAGA and Trump, they're also like crashing out as things are starting to, as Trump, basically what I've been showing you guys this whole live tonight, whole show, is that Trump has actually been flipping the script again, and he's starting to gain momentum again because Trump always figures it out. He just does. And he also always knows how to use leverage better than anybody else. That's just a fact. And he's got the most leverage. So when you know how to use the leverage and you have the most leverage, you're always going to win unless you're stupid. And Trump's obviously not. So he's in the driver's seat. He holds all the cards, and this is making a lot of the influencers crash out because they're starting to realize that they're not moving the needle at all. So what do you do in that case? Well, you either try to kiss up, come back, or you go crazier and crazier, just trying to hope you find something that sticks and hurts them. And that's what I think we're watching right now. I mean, Candace is going the opposite way, or the same way as Tucker, saying that a likely scenario, talking about Trump's dealing with the Iranians, is that Kushner and Witkoff are lying to Trump about peace talks. I mean, honestly, you think like his son-in-law and one of his oldest friends, it's a likely scenario they're lying to him about peace talks? How stupid is this woman? Oh, but Trump is too stupid to realize they work for Adelson and Netanyahu and not him. Really? Okay, so your very own son-in-law Okay, you could make the case maybe. Odds are very low, but okay, maybe. But then the guy you've been doing real estate with in New York for years and years and years, you've probably known everything about him. You've gone with him through deal after deal, known for 30, 40 years. You made him your main guy, that, diplomat, and you didn't know that he was completely controlled by Israel. I don't think so. That Trump has some of the best instincts we've ever seen. He might have the best political instincts of the modern age. And we're supposed to believe that he would have chose Steve Witkoff and he was just too stupid to realize he was controlled by Israel. So dumb. Says he's leaving Plato's allegory of the cave. Kushner makes shadows on. Okay. This is so ridiculous. But again, this is what they're doing, man. They're just trying to undermine Trump. And remember what I kept telling you guys, how like these people, when they're being smart, they don't go directly at Trump because they know then they'll lose a lot of their audience. What they do is they try to paint Trump as either the victim of the bubble he lives in or he's stupid, like Candace just said. It's insane. It's insane. It shows you exactly who they are, because only an idiot or a complete shill would say this. That's it. You're either getting paid to say this or you're a complete moron. There's no in between. So enjoy your boot, Candace. Here's Bannon lately, his guest lately. Don't fall for the psyop. Bannon's been one of the ones where a lot of people challenge me the most. No, Bannon's a patriot. He's good. You're wrong about Bannon. I just don't see it. Well, just look at who he's platforming. Posobiec, okay, Poso's always there. Not everybody agrees Poso is intelligence, even though he was Navy intelligence. But look, Tucker, Megan, they've both been crashing out. Joe Kent, is that Ian Rankin? Yeah, this guy who said that Trump's assassination would be the best thing that could happen. We have General Flynn, he's getting worse and worse by the minute. Alex Jones has been crashing out. MTG, Cerno. They all, birds of a feather, guys. They're all flocking together. And it sucks. I'll be completely honest with you. I was a big fan of Tucker for a while. Megan's show was great for about 2 years. I never really paid much attention to Kent. I've been back and forth on Flynn for a while. Alex, I loved Alex Jones. Like, it doesn't mean I always believed everything on his show, but I enjoyed the guy and I thought he was a total patriot. And then the crash out just started happening and it's gotten worse and worse. And he keeps trying to scramble and weasel his way back in. But man, when you're regularly having Nick Fuentes on your show and acting like he knows what he's talking about, that's crazy. MTG, we all know about her. And Cerno, this guy's been defrauding MAGA for a long time. Now, you could point to each one of these people and say they've done something good for the movement, and you'd be right. Every single one of them has done something good. But guys, that's how you get close. That's how you deceive. You weasel your way in. That's how you play double agent. So I'm at the point where every single one of these people on here, I believe, is either just doing it for the money, they're grifting, or they're some sort of double agent. But Bannon is hosting all of them, and that tells you all you need to know. Or the Epstein texts, the 2000 Epstein texts, maybe that tells you all you need to know. But again, if you're still on the fence about Bannon, guys, just look who he's hanging out with. Okay? I mean, the best thing we can do, guys, is just make sure all these people lose all their views and support. And that's the best thing we can do. And now the thing they're all doubling down right now, and it's because they're noticing the polls aren't moving. They went all out. They smelled, or they thought they smelled blood in the water with the Iran war. And so they went all out. And now look, they're just, it's kind of pathetic, honestly. They're all just hanging out with each other, thinking they're changing the world, and yet nobody cares. Pretty crazy. It's crazy to watch this go down. Speaking of turning back, Joe Kent, of all people, the guy who came out, resigned from the Trump administration last week, called out Trump as controlled by Israel, made the rounds on all the influencer shows. Today, came out and said, Trump is working to get peace with Iran. If he can make this happen, it will be very good for our nation and allies in the Gulf. The Israelis will be against this, but POTUS is strong and can get them on board. I thought he was controlled by Israel. Joe, what is it? Can you ever make up your mind? Now, I will say this. Joe hasn't been on this long enough for us to 100% say he's bad. Is it possible Joe's pulling the rug out on all these people, exposing them? I don't know. I would say it's much more likely he's one of them and wants to be one of them. I would say that's definitely the more likely scenario. But when he's putting stuff out like this right after doing the circuit, it does make you wonder. It's like, okay, maybe there's something different going on. I don't know, but it's pretty crazy because this sounds very opposite of what he wrote last week when the whole world was watching. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but it's pretty crazy. But I'll tell you what, Trump is telling us how he feels about it all. And this is big news. Trump is skipping CPAC for the first time in a decade. So ever since Trump started running for president and became president the first time, he has been to every single CPAC as the headline speaker. Every single one. About a week ago, CPAC announced Steve Bannon as being one of their main speakers. Big. Steve Bannon and some of the other influencers getting pulled in, being announced as speakers. And Trump is like, cool, I'm out. Doesn't that kind of tell you all you need to know? That's Trump telling us CPAC is not MAGA. And it's also him saying, I'm not going to share the stage with these people. I think Trump just told us everything we need to know. CPAC's a big deal. That's a big speech every year. So for Trump to pull out, that's going to crush CPAC. And we got to watch. I mean, but I do think the main reason is Bannon. I think he's done. So it's pretty crazy to see. CA Human says, I met him at CPAC. Wow. Lisa says, Joe scrambling. He's not smart enough to play on that level. Might be true. But this is the end of an era, though. Think about it. Trump not going to CPAC. That's the Conservative Political Action Committee. He's now saying it's MAGA or bust. And he's also saying I'm MAGA. As he called out Tucker, said Tucker's never been MAGA. He called out Steve Bannon in the past, and then he's been nice to him lately. But then the Epstein files came out, which everybody pushed for him to get out. And it vindicated Trump and made Bannon look terrible. And now he's distancing from Bannon. I think, guys, this part of what Trump's been doing and doing all this wild stuff, Venezuela, ramping up ICE, going to Davos, and now, like, this year has been crazy, and now Iran. That's all the first 3 months of this year, though, guys. I mean, wow. 2026, wild year. Happy 250th, America. But what has Trump done? He pushed all the influencers to the edge where they had to reveal themselves. Genius, man. Genius. And again, him pulling out of CPAC here, it's just him showing, again, he holds all the cards. Because now who's going to care about CPAC? Now who's going to watch CPAC? He just rug pulled him. He just was like, I'm done. I'm showing you guys, watch where the movement goes. Watch where MAGA follows. And I guarantee you, Trump's going to prove MAGA follows him. He's the man. That's how it's going. And these influencers are going to continually lose viewership and influence. Just watch. Master move right there. Okay. Before we end tonight, I'm going to get back in the chat, look at your guys' comments and questions, answer what I can. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Think about joining if you want to support the channel and get extra content. Would love to have you in there. Okay, let's see here. Jesus Save said, last year at CPAC, Megyn Kelly talked about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. That's so dumb. Had nothing to do with anything interesting, right? Not for us. Eric says, Joe Kent, a white hat psyop to expose the grifters, dark mag on display. I mean, I think there's a small chance. I think there is. Let's see. George, Papa Nickel, more and more I sit and think about everything. There's no man like Trump. He's amazing. He really is. He really is. The more you study Trump, it's incredible. It is. Toe says, I've got his eyes on Flynn. Interesting. Even Ranklin's on the Bannon show. I have to watch these people very closely. Yeah, I mean, I think they've all exposed themselves at this point, Toe. I really do. Flynn said something the other day. I don't have it ready to go, but it was pretty like, what the heck, man? It was pretty nuts. But Flynn has his own network, and there's a lot of people who people point him out. Brendan Dilley does a great job on this, pointing out the Flynn network, and you can see how they all operate and how they run their whole PSYOP operation. It is interesting for sure. Mark R., thank you so much. Uncle Andy says, remember watching Cernovich on Periscope? Oh, man. That was the old days, huh? Kevin Nicholson, perhaps they're being used to draw out those not loyal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Megan's views have plummeted. I'm hoping they all do. I'll have to keep feeding them. I know Candace lost a ton of views until she launched her new Erica Kirk expose, which was like her big getting boosted back up. But they've also, that initial excitement's gone. And of course, she doesn't bring receipts. So it's just fallen down. People think Jared Kushner is the Antichrist. I haven't heard that one. That's hilarious. Oh my God, that is funny. Kansas proof retarded people can be attractive and well-spoken. I love it. That's great. That's too funny, man. Influencer playbook, get a following, like be normal conservative, make a lot of money. When we call on you, follow our script and narrative. Yeah, that's a lot to that. Absolutely. A lot to that. 100%. Laura Loomer said Tucker converted Islam. I mean, that would be wild. I know the Qatar stuff. Listen, Tucker is, whatever's going on with Tucker, I don't want to speak on the personal level, like that stuff, like faith stuff. Although it is crazy to say what he does and then also embrace like some of the Islam stuff. But, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. All I know is this: he's lying, and he's purposely doing stuff right now to try and hurt the MAGA movement. That's all that's 100% obvious. And as far beyond that, I can't tell you with Tucker, and I don't need to. I don't want to, honestly. It's not interesting enough for me. All I care about is that we win for our country. I care about Trump winning, because if he wins, we all win. I care about MAGA growing and going past Trump. I care about this MAGA movement taking back our country for generations, not one generation, not for a few years, for generations. That's what I want. I want my kids and grandkids to have a better country than I had. I see Trump, people like tease me for being a Trump tard, like all in. I am. And I don't care if you don't like it. This man has done, I've watched him go through hell to stay our president, be our president again. Gone through stuff no other person would. I've seen them try to kill him. I've seen them try to lock him up. I've seen them try to take away his money. And he just kept going with a smile on his face, fighting for us. I see him doing things I only used to dream about happening for our country and foreign policy. And everything I want to happen, I see that even if he hasn't gotten to it yet, I see things that give me hope that he's getting there or that he's starting it. And so why would I turn against him? It's the greatest leader I've seen in my lifetime. I'm 42 years old. And from a historical perspective, he's one of the great leaders of the last 250 years. And so, you know, I'm all in. I'm all in. And, you know, for the last 10 years, one of my rules of thumb on deciphering fake info from truth is because there's so much we don't know behind the scenes, right? It's what's Trump doing? How is he acting? How does he feel? What's he saying? And if I follow Trump, I end up right, as I like to say on this show, 96.7% of the time. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm all in. And so I don't care, like influencers that I like, you guys cross Trump, I'm done with you. And that doesn't mean disagreement. There is a respectful way to disagree. I've disagreed with Trump at times, but there's a difference between disagreeing and going and trying to destroy a man and his movement or in what's happening, or trying to throw wrenches in it. There's a difference. And, you know, when you have a leader and you chose them and you're trusting them, you disagree. And once the decision's made, you fall in line, because ultimately what matters most is the mission's won. We chose him as our leader to make the decisions. That's what a leader does. And so that's how I am with Trump. If I don't understand it, I might be critical, but as soon as he makes a decision, fall in line. And I'm always going to be that way. I just am. I trust this man. I trust him because I believe God chose him. I have my own personal story about that. It's, you know, and it's been the greatest ride of my life as a political junkie of 25 plus years to be supporting this guy and what he's accomplishing. And so I'm not changing. So Tucker, Megyn Kelly, I mean, even Rush Limbaugh, who is like the best, the GOAT, even he couldn't convince me to turn on Trump at this point. And there's no other influencer, you know, personality, a leader in conservative movement who I ever respected more than Rush until Trump came along. And the difference is that Rush, as amazing as he was still a talker, whereas Trump's the one actually getting it done. And so that's how I see it. Kevin says, what we'll be telling is what these influencers are doing the day before midterm elections. They're going to be telling people not to vote or to vote Democrat. I bet a few of them fall back in line because they're going to be scared of losing their audience. But some of them have gone too far. There's no coming back. Like, I won't let any of them back personally, but some of them might be able to sneakily come back in a little bit. Nearly killed, and he stands up and yells, "Fight, fight, fight." Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was one of the greatest moments of my life, seeing that. One of the greatest because A, he was alive and I was terrified he wouldn't be, and the other one because of how he responded. It's incredible. Incredible stuff. He went to Graceland. I know, it was hilarious. Anyways, well, listen, guys, love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Again, a lot of new people have been watching. Thank you guys. Thanks for trying me out. Thanks for giving me a shot to be a voice in your life on this little short time when I do these shows. I really appreciate the new subscribers, the new viewers. And you guys have joined what I think is the best community online. Between our talks here, X, and the Discord on my Patreon. But thank you guys for that. Look forward again to know a lot of you, just like I've known the other people who've been here for 3 years, somewhere in the 3 years. But yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. And what we always do at the end of the night here, because it's important, because we're not here without God, without his miracle, without his grace. Our country was almost completely lost as we know it. And we got pulled back from the brink. And now we're heading into what I believe will be one of the great ages of this country, maybe the best. And I am more optimistic than I've ever been that we're just a few, I don't even know. I was about to say years, but I don't even know if it's going to take years to get to that time. We're in history right now. We're winning. There's no doubt about it. We're winning, but the fight continues, and we're not going to win without God on our side and without submitting to him and continuing to thank him for all he's doing. Prayer is powerful. Prayer is what got us here in the first place. And we're just going to, so we always end in a prayer here. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God, first of all, I just ask for a blessing on everybody watching and just wherever they're at, Lord, just be with them in Jesus' name. And thank you for them, Lord, and everybody who cares about this country to make it a better place. Father, I pray protection over our president and his team. Protection, wisdom, and boldness are the three big things we always pray for them, so that they're protected from the enemy. They have wisdom to solve all the problems before them, and they have the boldness to do what's right, no matter how hard, scary, or unpopular. We pray for our country, God, that you would bring prosperity, peace, and justice back to our country like never before, that you would shine a light on all corruption, expose everybody who's acting evilly or sinister against, God, your will for this country, and just expose it all so we can see it and we can weed it out. And Lord, continue to rise up and stir your people to rise up and do what's right and get this country back so that our kids and grandkids can have a better country than we did. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Love you guys. Have a blessed night. Again, hit that like and subscribe on the way out. And I'll see you all tomorrow night. Take care.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is